What's up, y'all? Thanks for stopping by the Surge T channel. I am Surge T, and tonight I'll be doing my rundown and thoughts on NXT 2.0. This actually is the Halloween Havoc edition, the yearly tradition that they've done, a couple years now? Last year's was a lot of fun. I loved it. I thought it was great. This one, well, you'll find out as I go along as to how much I liked this year's Halloween Havoc. Now, Chucky intros the show, Halloween Havoc, and they're really promoting heavy the new TV show, and I'm definitely going to check it out. It's gotten a lot of good reviews, certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm a big Chucky fan, so I don't know why I haven't watched it yet. Kind of like having to kind of iffy because of the movie that recently came out, some years ago, a few years ago. So I'm kind of giving my space to the series for now, but I'm gonna check it out. So let's continue. Stairway to Hell ladder match for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. It actually starts off the show, and the champs Io Shirai and Zoe Stark take on Indy Hartwell and Persia Parada, and of course the final team is Toxic Attraction. And it's good to see JC Jane back after taking that scary fall after she attempted the suicide dive last week. Took her out of the triple threat match, so she couldn't be in the running to decide who spins the wheel and decides the match. EO won, and of course, fell the what do you call it? The wheel fell. I mean, it landed, I should say, on Stairway to Hell ladder match. This match was brutal. There was even one spot where Shirai fell from the top of the ladder and landed on a ladder that in the what do you call it, that was set up earlier. Went from the apron to the announce desk, and she fell hard. She fell on the upper part of her back, so she kind of was able to fall in a way that wasn't too dangerous, but at the same time, it couldn't have felt too good. I think Io Shirai definitely had some ice packs on that back after this match. Now, India, unfortunately, she was too concerned with Io, and rightfully so. And I guess it's kind of like that's her nature. She is a caring person. She doesn't have a wicked evil what do you call that, bone in her body at the moment. She's a baby face, so of course she did that. But what did that do? Right? What did that do? That gave Gigi Dolan the in to knock Indy off of the top of the ladder, and that's all she needed to do. And all she needed to do was pull down the strap, and her and JC Jane, who joins her on the top of the ladder and pulls down her belt, and they become the new NXT Tag Team Women's Tag Team Champions. Let's say that again: the new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. And is this going to be a golden night for Toxic Attraction? Because Mandy Rose will be facing Raquel Gonzalez, challenging her for the NXT Women's Championship. Now, Trick and Carmelo are out to retrieve Hayes' North American title, and they arrive at a haunted house. And then Loomis and Gargano are watching their every move, and it is to be continued. So let's move on. Grayson Waller is the de facto host because LA Knight is a no-show, something wrong with his car. And then Joe Gacy comes out. And I skipped this to his match because I'm tired of his annoying, character. And he has a match with Malik Blade. Malik Blade has had a lot of time in the ring. And, Gacy's scary bald-headed friend comes out. And Gacy then delivers a springboard clothesline. Very devastating, very convincing, very good move. And he gets the victory, and Malik Blade continues his losing ways. Guy has, he's athletic. He does have a good look, and he looks like he can go in the ring. But for the meantime, he's just eating L's. And I guess that's what he has to do until the time comes that he is the next person to step up. He may even be in the breakout tournament next year. So we'll see. Kaylee Ray she's pissed. She's arrived, and ever since she's arrived, nothing's happened. She's the longest reigning women's champion, and she says in 60 years, and nothing has happened for her. And she's throwing stuff at the wall. She has her initials on there, and she's definitely looking to make everybody pay. And I'm surprised that she hasn't been put at a situation or at a point where she's one of the featured stars on NXT, even on Halloween Havoc. Now, Diamond Mine tells us what they can do, of course. But didn't the Creed brothers lose last time? Yeah, I'm trying to remember. And an open challenge gets Odyssey Jones out, you know, out there, and he looks to get him some of cruiserweight champ Roderick Strong. Even Malcolm Bivens says, "Hey, what are you doing? You're no way, um, 205 pounds." But Roderick Strong says, "Okay, good. I'll take him on. I'll take him on." And then it took a distraction and interference from the Creed brothers to allow Roddy to connect with two stiff high knees, and he gets the victory over Odyssey Jones. He pretty much, I don't know, they made Odyssey Jones look weak because the guy's 400 plus pounds, very athletic, and in no time at all, he got defeated by Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong is a tough guy. Of course, he's convincing. He can take somebody down, just like Wade Barrett said. He has enough in his arsenal to take down Odyssey Jones, but I don't know. Should have made him look maybe a little more stronger in his loss. I think he looked weak. Sometimes these guys can look strong when they lose, but Odyssey Jones looked weak. I don't know what to say. Now, Imperium is set on winning the tag team titles for themselves, not for Walter. I mean, Mackenzie asked them, what does Walter think of that? And then, you know, uh, they pretty much say, yeah, hey, it's not about him right now. It's about us. And I think that Walter would be okay with that because Walter probably told him straight up, don't do anything for me. You do it. Like they always talk about the sacredness of the ring. You know. Now, you get a silly backstage segment. They're all back there partying because it's Halloween, and you see it was whomever was there. A lot of the new guys and gals are there. And then Lash Legend is annoying, and she's hanging out with another loser, Tony D'Angelo. Is that his name? I don't know. I don't care. But up next is the match for the NXT Women's Championship. And the wheel is spun, and it lands on Chucky's choice, and it's a trick-or-treat street fight. It's it's the start of what the F type of situations with the wheel. I'll talk about that on the next match, but it lands on the trick-or-treat street fight. And then Mandy Rose, uh, you know, sh- the match was very good. Mandy Rose really is someone who has very transitioned into a very competent wrestler in the ring. She really has done her training, and she actually, absorbs the training, and she's taking whatever she learns and applies it to the ring. And I'm very, very impressed with her and admire her hard work. And she really does come off like she knows how to string together a series of moves. She doesn't look like she's counting the moves and doesn't look like she's hesitating or stutter stepping. She really does know how to put it together. And, but then there was a very, very, like, what you call that, a very brutal spot, a table spot, where she was standing up. And, of course, Raquel Gonzalez, with all her might, spears her through the table. Just struck the table. The table broke beautifully. And then Mandy Rose's, attempted pin on her, and she kicks out. You know, but then we see the Grim Reaper standing outside the ring with a shovel, and she attacks Raquel Gonzalez, hits her in the base of her spine, not even on the back, but right in the spinal area, right at right there. And Mandy Rose sees that, and then she delivers her patented high knee and pins Gonzalez 1, 2, 3 and becomes the new women's champ. And Toxic Attraction end up in the evening dripping in gold. You see JC Jane and Gigi Dolan join her, and they look damn good with the gold in their possession. Real nice shot there of all three of them with the gold. And I guess this cements them as a dominant faction. Is this the dominant faction that takes over for Undisputed Era? Someone with factions all dripped in gold, all covered in gold, all champions, and that's a good thing. They started off pretty rough for me, but I kind of am digging them now, and I think that that's what the women's division needs. There's a real stiff kick in the ball. Well, you don't have balls, but real stiff kick in the butt, and they're doing it with this, and hopefully they get you know Kaylee Ray on track, make her a dominant woman, and make this division and make NXT 2.0, you know, a place where women's wrestling is, considered, you know, some one of the best, if not the best. And then, like this, is this a surprise? The Reaper is revealed as Dakota Kai, and like I said, no one's surprised. No one popped. No one said anything, and then the idiot crowd chant "Welcome back." Really? Can you guys stop trying to be cool for the room and chanting everything and anything for anybody when it has to make sense? Why are you welcoming her back when she actually interfered in the match with a person that you guys were cheering for? You know what I mean? Give me a break. And then we return to the haunted house, and Trick and Carmelo are still on the hunt for Carmelo Hayes' North American Championship, and then Andre Chase is inside the house sitting down, and then they have him, guide them. And I'm like thinking, man, I was thinking, man, this sucks. And then Trick and Carmelo, they didn't even react when every time something would pop up. But then why would you? You know what I'm saying? It's like nothing was scary in there. It looked real juvenile. And then once they were outside, after they got a little scuffle with what do you call it, with Gargano and Loomis, and then you see those fake zombies come out again, and then they kick them and punch them. Does Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, and then they run off, cartoonish yelling and screaming and running off like they're scared, but then yet they weren't scared inside. Like it was dumb. It sucked. It wasn't as anywhere near fun, and you know and good as the one with Loomis and what do you call it, Grimes last year. That was a good one. That was a fun one. It was funny. It made sense. Everything what came together. This one looked like they were just, especially Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. They looked like they were just going through the motions. They weren't reacting the way that you would think they would react. They were scared here, a little bit here, a little bit there, and then it was like nothing. It was a dud. Now, LA Knight really LA Knight. Let's talk about LA Knight. LA Knight really needs to get past these silly gimmicks and get serious. He's in the ring with Grayson Waller, who of course he's dressed up as Dracula, and it's always LA Knight. I guess they didn't realize that the other one was going to dress like them, and there's a whole thing of how did Grayson Waller know that what do you call it? LA Knight had car problems, and oh my God, that's going to cause an issue. Oh, look, watch out! And then here comes Solo Sikoa. He's in there, and he disposes of Grayson Waller, throws him over the top rope, and then LA Knight gets out of there. And I'm looking at him, and he looks like the younger brother of the Usos. He looks similar. He looks similar. There's no mistaking the eyes, or I could be mistaken, but I think that he is coming to NXT. I mean, NXT, but to WWE. The last time I realized he was in I realized, but last time I checked or last time I read, he was in MLW, Major League Wrestling. I guess he's here. I don't know. I'm gonna look that up later on. But I think that's him, but we'll see. Now LA Knight, oh not LA Knight. Let's get past that. Now spin the wheel, make the deal. A match for the NXT Tag Team titles, MSK versus Imperium, and I hope Imperium win because MSK are starting to grate on my nerves and they're starting to get annoying. Now, a fan of the night, Alex, if that is his real name, spins the wheel and it lands on Lumberjack O'Lantern match. Now, let's get into this. Why does it land on a familiar match? We have those separate choices, different types of things, and we always get that. Like earlier with the street fight. Like, can't you something else? How about you fall on damn casket match? You don't get that all the time. It's always a street fight, or it's always a lumberjack match. It's like the whole thing that I have an issue with the roll ups when it comes to a pinfall. It's always a roll up. WWE gets lazy at times, and I guess they're just thinking, we don't have enough energy or creativity, or we just don't want to deal with booking a different type of match. Let's just go to the regular match. The only thing that's different is the names. The little cutesy little names like Jack O'Lantern, what's that? Lumberjack O'Lantern match, and Scareway to Hell ladder match. Different names. Although I love that match to me. you know. But now MSK, they're looking for respect. Like what the f, man? What the fuck? Like, are we getting a heel turn shoved down our throats? Like, why is it that these guys who a week ago or so they had the respect of the crowd, and then last week they were getting boos. We were hearing chants of what was that? You suck or something like that. And I'm just thinking it's probably the damn piped in crowd noise. It wasn't them in the audience because why are they gonna say that shit like right away? It's like WWE trying to make the crowd and make us hate them and stuff like that. It's like, they kept saying that. They kept going to Beth and going, "What do you think about them? What do they have to do to earn respect?" I go, "They're the tag team champions. They went through the Dusty Rhodes, you know, you know, what's that? The Dusty Rhodes, what do you call it? Tag team cup, whatever you want to call it. But they went through that tournament, and then they went on later on to become. They won the tournament, and then later on they became the tag team champions. That's not enough respect. So you gotta put it out there. Oh my God, what do they have to do to get respect? Shouldn't he have had it? And this match was all over the place and it was poorly done. I mean, and then they had the "This is awesome" chants. Those chants were ringing out, and I'm like, shut the fuck up. And the audience does. It's like they heard me and maybe heard other people that were watching too and saying, "Shut the fuck up. What is up with you guys saying this is awesome?" No, it wasn't. Not every match is awesome. And then Imperium were trying to go for that European elbow uppercut combo and ends in a power slam. And they tried it once, tried it twice. They finally got it, and they become the new champs. And that is good. And they show, you know, then that's good. And then they show what took out the Lumberjacks because the Lumberjacks all of a sudden disappeared. And we see who was that that took that dive and took out everybody. Well, took out like there was a whole crowd, a whole sea of them, and only took out about 4 or 5 of them, and that took out everybody. Like they disappeared because it was residual pain, I guess. I mean, you see one of the Creed brothers, nothing gets even hit by the person diving, and he falls down. Enough of that shit. People stop doing that shit. It looks stupid when it's just like I guess the force of the person doing the moonsault or whatever or the dive caused everybody else to fall down. That's always that same thing when you see it, and you're just like, what the fuck? It's always silly. It's silliness. But the one thing I gotta say about them is that you see some of the other guys, right? And they're looking at the other guys on down on the floor, and they're looking at them, stuff like that. And then they look up, and then down comes the person diving. Not like in other places, like AEW, where they're looking at the person like for 30 seconds or a minute. You know, you know, and that's the way you do it. You don't stand there looking at a person or looking up at a person and shut the fuck up to anybody who will see this and they're gonna comment that, oh, you're a damn what do you call it, AEW hater. No, because it's true. I love AEW, but it's true. They still do that thing where they sit there and they look up and they're waiting for like 10 minutes for somebody to dive. The worst thing was, of course, that whole thing with Penta and who was the other guys. But they were looking, oh yeah, and Luchasaurus and all that, and they're looking up at Jungle Boy and who was that? The other guy. But they're looking up at them for like at least a minute, just looking up, looking up. They're holding Penta, and shouldn't Penta be fighting back? You know, that's the thing they need to get together, and they need to get that right, and stop with the whole thing of like, like it's just silliness. But let's get back to NXT 2.0. Now, so far with this, it's 3 for 3 when it comes to title changes, and if Braun Breaker becomes the champ, it'll be definitely a way for WWE to usher in the new era of NXT 2.0. And the death of the Black and Gold brand, as they were saying, it's going to maybe the end of the Black and Gold brand. Now, I hope being a loser doesn't run in the family, says Chucky. What the fuck, Chuck? You're talking about Braun Breaker. His dad is Rick Steiner and his uncle is Scott Steiner. That's definite winners in my book, but they're not acknowledging his family, his dad and his uncle. But it's kind of funny that you will hear like references in this match. Now, this is the title match, the NXT title match between Braun Breaker challenging Tommaso Ciampa, and we see Braun Breaker. I don't know if it was like they're saying that it was because he was losing his footing, or not footing, but he's losing his stamina and he's probably gassed. And there's one point where he's on the second turnbuckle and he slips as he tries to do a dive on Ciampa, and he falls flat on his face. And you know what I'm saying, and like I said, it looked bad when that happened. And then he tries to step into the back into the ring, and then he's on the receiving end of a Willow's Bell DDT. And you know what I mean. Braun Breaker looked rough in this match. Looks like the first time that I ever seen him, and he really, I don't know what happened with him. I don't know what was up with his what he presented in the ring. He had some good spots here. He had good things. He wasn't bad, but at the same time, it's probably the first time that I've watched him, and I'm thinking, not too impressed. Not like his other outings. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's because it was a big time thing with the going after the championship, you know. But I'm still a fan. But maybe next time, better luck next time, And then you notice that Braun Breaker, he was barking like his pops, barking like Rick Steiner. And then earlier he was called a genetic freak. That's just that's the thing that they would always call his Uncle Scott. And he even pulled off, speaking of Scott Steiner, he pulled off a Frankensteiner, a pretty nice one too. Um, you know, but then on the outside, I didn't even notice. I must have looked away. There was exposed concrete. One of the mats was pulled up, and he takes a DDT head first. I mean, I could hear the slap. You know, so Braun Breaker, kissed the concrete with a DDT by Ciampa. And then he gets a fairy tale ending on the inside, but that doesn't keep him down. You see him bleeding. But then a second time's a charm, and then Ciampa connects and pins Braun Breaker and retains the gold. Let's talk about this pay per view, or not pay per view, but the special event. This was not good. I mean, I love the women's tag team title match. I think to me that was the best match. It was a good way to start off the evening, and it should have piggybacked off of that, and the momentum, and the vibe should have continued to just go upwards. The haunted house segment sucked. The tag team title match was a mess, and I didn't hate the women's title match, but it was so-so. And then the NXT Championship match was a letdown because I wanted Braun to win. It would have been a definite way to usher in the new era. Now, I'm not doing sour grapes or anything like that. And, oh, my favorite, the guy that I wanted to win. But it's like, it would have been good for the new era. Tommaso Ciampa doesn't need to hold his title any longer. He can lose tonight and then go to the main roster. I think they're going to protect him at the main roster. I can only hope. But I think maybe it's time for him to do that and try his luck. Because you definitely need good luck and the best of luck when you go to the main roster. Just take a look at Bearcat Lee, Keith Lee. Look at Dominic Dijakovic. He's T-Bar. Who else has been totally just underused? In NXT 2.0, I swear, dude, I used to always be like, look forward to it. I used to always be like, I have nothing but good things to say about it, but it really has been awful. It's so bad that it affected Halloween Havoc. Halloween Havoc is supposed to be a fun, thing, a fun pay-per-view, a fun special event. Like last year's, I loved last year's, man. And then here, it looked like they just didn't have it down. Like, what was up with some of these guys' energy in the ring and the lack thereof and the mess of some matches and like that. I wish they had continued that momentum off of the first match. It was a really good physical ladder match. The women did excellent. I applaud all six ladies, JC Jane and Gigi Dolan, they look like champions. Mandy Rose finally comes into her own now and she wins her first Singles Championship. And they look good. And I hope they hold the titles for a long time and they continue to dominate because they need someone like them and also, like I said, Kaylee Ray and these others to really make this division something to talk about. You know, you want to be the say that they're the best women's division? Well, continue to prove it. Use the Toxic Attraction as their main attraction, and then everybody else should rise to their level. You know, and it's a good thing that they did give them the titles. That's good because it's a start of them being the dominant faction, maybe amongst the men and women in NXT 2.0. But anyway, that's my video. Disappointed in Halloween Havoc. You know, I just didn't know. I don't know how they could have not made and come out with a fun, exciting type of all around. I'm talking about all around event. They kind of failed in that. But that's my opinion. That's my thoughts, rundown and thoughts, of course, of NXT 2.0 Halloween Havoc. But anyway, that's my video. So for those of you who stopped by, checked it out, appreciate it. And in closing, as always, take care.